So we are done with the final assembly of the motor, transmission, bell housing, and shifter assembly, as well as the rear axle and leaf springs. So now we just have to push it inside the assembly room, put the final inspection line markings on, and it's ready to be installed in the car. I know that the transmission gets 2 white marks down at the very back of it, right down there. One of the things that I think sometimes gets overlooked when you're doing an OEM restoration is the duplication of the assembly line markings. An assembly line had employees, it had humans that were working on it, as well as all the automated equipment. For the guy at the beginning of the assembly line to let the guy at the end of the assembly line know that all the bolts for the shackles had been tightened down, he would put a swatch of paint on there. For him to let him know that the brakes had been checked and tested and adjusted, there was another color of paint on there. So I try to mimic that exact same look on my cars today, so when I'm bragging about something being OEM, it's as close to OEM as you can get. And do you know why they do orange? Orange means it's a sure grip. They got rid of in '71, they stopped using the tag that said sure grip on it, and they just put an orange paint around the filler. So today, we get to raise the car up in the air, lower it down around its original drivetrain for the first time in years, and make this car whole again. This is gonna be an awesome day. Royal, come on. All right. Okay, motor and transmission go that end in this exact direction. All right.
You're the man.
Inch it. Hard to your right, Joshua. This is the very first time we've used the shop crane to assemble the cars like the manufacturer did. So it's very important that everything is safe, that all of the bolts that are installed are not flexing, that we have a good bite on it. The way I have the shop now set up looks a little bit different than the factory, but it's the exact same process. With the shop crane, I can lower the car down around the front suspension, rear suspension, put it all together just as the factory did, roll it straight forward to the bin pack side-by-side hoist, raise it up in the air, tighten up all the loose ends, lower it back down, roll it inside the assembly room, and all of a sudden we're ready to put interior glass and moldings on.
It's going quite well considering we had to look for a few parts. I'm excited. It's going real well.
It's funny because when I was a kid, I did quite a few motors in my different cars. And the way to do it was to raise the car up in the air on jack stands or logs, whatever you had, take the hood off and take the motor and dive it in from the top. It was a lot of work. You usually beat the hell out of your firewall and all the aprons around it. I kind of wish I knew then what I knew now, and I probably would have tried to duplicate the factory even back then. Basically, everything went pretty well. There's a few modifications I need to make to the engine cradle so that we can make it more adjustable. I think it'd make lowering the car down and lining everything up a little bit easier if that was adjustable. But basically, we're done with that now. So we're gonna put the wheels and tires on the car, roll it forward to the hoist, lift it up in the air, and button up the undercarriage on it. Our 71 Cuda is supposed to have the 15.7 Rally with the Goodyear Polyglass GT60 tires on it. The tires aren't here yet, so I'm gonna use the wheels and tires from the Daytona Charger, put them on there just so I can roll the car around and get it back into the assembly room. Now
Look out, big boys, look out, big boys, look out,
Jack
big boys.
goes under.
Woo, woo, woo.